Good morning. Welcome to the No Way Jose podcast. This is the Morning Dump. I am your host, Jose Galison, and this is the kitty of the day, Eeyore. I actually thought we might have had the rare privilege to actually be able to promote a kitty to you guys because his owner actually backed out. Well, we weren't able to get a hold of him, so they just kind of gave us a deposit and never followed up with us. And so we had about a day where this little guy was needing a home. And I was going to offer it to you guys, but literally within, probably within 20 minutes of him being listed for resale, he had a home. So no such luck, but hey, if anyone ever wants kitties, they're years out almost typically, so you can get on the wait list. But he's a sweet little guy. It'll totally make sense that he went so quick. I mean, look at the adorable little feller. With that, guys, I hope you guys enjoy today's show. If you like seeing my hot takes Monday through Friday, although I guess the Mondays have been a little bit hit or miss, and the time is very much all over the place these days, but hey, such is life. But if you like seeing that, or if you just want to see the kitty of the day, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit that bell for notifications. We'll see you in the show.
Beautiful thing, right now.
Rise and shine, it's a beautiful day.
About a third of the building has been blown away.
This is the bridge to white light.
Our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
And at that point, we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Mossad.
It's crazy evil.
Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, November 25th. It's almost Thanksgiving, guys. Sorry, I'm a little bit late today, but hey, whatever. And I wasn't here yet yesterday, although I told you guys about that. A little warning, I actually might start picking up Tuesdays here, so I might go to a Wednesday to Friday thing. As always, if you don't like that, pay more money. I don't know. I'm going to tell you. Make it make sense for me not to go into work, but hey, when there's an opening, I'll take them, and I think Tuesdays might be opening in like the next month or so. So may go down to a 3-day-a-week live stream. Maybe I'll squeeze in some weekend ones occasionally or something. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. No, I do have kids and stuff, so hey, the schedule gets all wonky all over the place. It is, as I mentioned, it's around that Thanksgiving time right now. So today, the time got thrown off because I initially was going to take the kid to soccer practice because she had soccer practice at a weird time, and then she wasn't feeling good, so I didn't want to get the rest of her team sick. But she felt good enough to practice, so then me and her just went outside and kicked the ball around for about an hour and did a few other things. So anyways, my point being is I was spending time with my kiddo, so fuck you guys. So sorry. We shoot for 11 a.m., but sometimes some things are more important, and kicking the ball around with my kid is definitely that. So take advantage of that while I can. But hey, we're here. We're doing it. There's plenty of stuff for us to go through today. We'll be talking Candace test squads, the latest in the ongoing Candace narrative. I don't know what to make of this, as this show is. I mean, it's a reminder. I mean, for those, I know we get complaints sometimes in the comments. What is this show? This is an info dump. It's basically I just bookmark a bunch of shit that I feel like is pertinent, and I go over it with you guys. I mean, sometimes we do some stuff I've covered before. It's an info dump show, so that whether that's current event, like on the grind, like very early, we're processing it together, or sometimes that might be old stuff. We're reading old articles, but it's an info dump. So that's what this is. So I don't know. I really don't know what to make of this Death Squad stuff. I'm a little mixed, a little skeptical. Then we have Queen Greene folds, old Marjorie Greene, and this kind of ties into some of the shenanigans going on the political stage, and that will neatly kind of tie right into the following piece, which is Epstein Elites. We'll be digging into how far and how low this depravity, or how high and how low this depravity goes. Hint, hint, it goes all the way up to the Rothschilds. So we'll talk about that more. Lots of pizza involved. Hope you guys have had a good morning. Like I said, I didn't get my workout in like I normally did, but I know I played a bunch of soccer, so that counts, I think. I'll probably try to get a workout in later. I hope you guys are having a good time, spending lots of time with your family during this season. This time you can't get back, super important. But with that, guys, let's go through our, as we do with the show, we always open up with icebreaker clips or stories. So, funny, fun, gen pop type stuff. And then we get into foreign policy. And then we get into those main topics I just listed at the jump. So we'll, intermittently, we'll say hi to the chat. There's no super chats here. One of these days, I'll finally get around to fixing and setting up some sort of system for super chat so you guys can. But till then, just, I don't know, try to be interesting. I don't know. And then I'll bring up your chat. If you want to support my work, there is a QR code right there over at patreon.com/nowayjose2020. And I very much appreciate you guys' support. But with that, let's go ahead and get into the goofy stuff at the jump. Starting off, here's the every now and then this is partially an appreciation for my homie Toad, and then also partially a recognition of I think the algo's still fucked. So this is a banger. For the audio people, I'm going to read it to you. Here is a photo of. Let me make sure actually showing this on the screen. I am. Actually, maybe make sure no one's complaining about the audio or anything crazy. Cool. Not seeing any audio complaints. We're good. All right. Apparently, the former Kentucky and current UAB football player Daniel Mincy stabbed 2 UAB defensive linemen at breakfast today. It says one was taken away via an ambulance. This is a CFB Talk Dailies who's reporting this is a sports thing. So this is a young African-American fellow with some, I got to say, pretty ignorant hairstyle. Looks like something you expect to see in a homeless person. It's always either like a really, really poor black person or a really, really rich person, which is weird that he has his hairstyle because I would assume he probably falls in the middle there. I don't feel like it's appropriate to ever have that hairstyle unless you're homeless or you're some sort of like person like The Weeknd or some shit. But yeah, and the absolute banger I'm referring to here that didn't get the appropriate love is Toad coming in with a banger. That's what the segment should be. This is what I cover slept on tweets from Toad. This will be the Toad with the banger segment. Here's what he said. How would you feel if you didn't stab anyone for breakfast this morning? Obviously referencing the tired trope of the IQ test on not being able to conceptualize different hypotheticals and how that may apply along race lines, especially when you think about the average IQ. But yes, I just want to congratulate my homie Toad. He didn't even hit 100 on that one, and I mean this is an account with 20,000 followers, and this is a banger. This should have bag a day. Elon's sleeping on us. These sort of quality racism tweets would just take off. Not anymore. But we do have some good news. If you are named Adolf or Hitler, or if you do have an affinity for certain stashes that would be able to be, conducive in a gas mask type environment, I have some good news from you. There is a politician named Adolf Hitler that is set to win an election in Southern African country. We're so back. We're taking it all back, guys. Now's the time. We're erasing history. No more will this albatross be around our neck. We're electing all the Adolfs. We're growing all the mustaches. We're ejecting all the Jews. I mean, just kidding. Obviously that last one's a joke, but obviously funny. Moving on, more still in the I don't really take this serious realm, but I don't know. I haven't watched this clip. Maybe there's something in here. It goes, ooh girl. Well, this is my Ooh Girl segment right here. There's Erica Kirk, I guess, responding to some of the crazy conspiracy around her getting her ass squeezed by JD Vance or whatever it is the hell the ladies have been all worked up about. That's why I'm calling it my Ooh Girl segment, because it seems to be only the ladies who really care about this part of the conspiracy. But let's go ahead and play this. Let's see what she had to say.
They went to the weirdest places.
Oh my gosh. You guys, please. So for those of you who know me, I hug.
Yes, you're an intense hugger.
Whoever awesome. Is like hating on a hug needs a hug themselves. I will give you a free hug anytime if you want a hug. My love language is touch, if you will. But seriously, that hug. So I will give you a play-by-play. walking. They just played the emotional video. I'm walking over, he's walking over, I'm starting to cry. He says, he's so proud of you. And I say, God bless you. And I touch the back of his head. Anyone who I've hugged that I have touched the back of your head when I hug you, I always say, God bless you. That's just me. If you want to take that out of context, go right ahead. Again, that to me shows that you need a hug more than anyone else. So if anyone...
They were acting like you touched the back of his ass.
I feel like I wouldn't get as much hate if I did that. But no, seriously, so now when I go and hug people, I'll bring them back in and be like, I obviously didn't give you the right hug. Like, let me touch that.
All right, I don't really know what to say about that. I mean, I don't know. Ladies in the chat, sound off. Are you satisfied with that response? Maybe she's just a sensual hugger. I don't know. What do you guys think? I can't even care. I just can't care. All right, getting to a spot where I start to care a little bit more. We're more in the Gen Pop, moving out of the fun/funny. Although I still find this kind of fun and funny. Dunking on the Jays. Here's Barry Weiss, and she has it kind of speaks for itself. Let's watch this.
All of us see the moment that we're in, and all of us see that the choices that it feels like we have sometimes, which is Hassan Piker and Tucker Carlson, or Nick Fuentes and, Andrew Tate, the kind of people that are rising in the podcast charts, those don't actually represent our values. And I don't think that they represent the values and the worldview of the vast majority of Americans. And so this is an opportunity to speak for the 75%, for the people that are on the center left and the center right that still believe in equality of opportunity, that still believe passionately in the American project, that still believe in all of the things that everyone in this room believes in, which is liberty and freedom and individual responsibility and in the most basic level, the right to know what is actually going on in the world, not the world as propagandists and ideologues imagine it to be, what's actually going on in the world and in your community, so you can make decisions about where to send your kids to school, about where to live, and about how to vote. That used to just be normal. And the goal of what we're trying to do at CBS is to get back to that normalcy. And I feel incredibly energized and enthusiastic because I think that is where the vast majority of Americans actually are.
Well, so that articulation of that set of goals to speak into the lives of the 75%, how are you going to do that? What's your strategy for success?
So I think one of the problems is a lot of people have tried to do centrist news. I know this because I am like the target audience for those things. And the reason that they have all failed is it's like trying to force feed spinach down someone's throat, right? It's felt very like tofu, oatmeal.
Like trying to force feed Israel down someone's throat.
It's like centrist news is choosing the midpoint between every single topic. It's felt like an absence of charisma and identity.
Yes, that is what Tim Pool is.
And I, as nostalgic as people might be for an era in which 30 million Americans every night watch Walter Cronkite and saw him as the voice of truth, and I understand why they're nostalgic for that, we're not going back to that. So how do you build trust in a moment of unbelievably low trust in all of our public institutions, especially the mainstream press? I don't think it's by pretending like we can go back to having a view from nowhere. I think it's about who's in the room, right? I think it's about redrawing the lines of what falls in the 40-yard lines of acceptable debate and acceptable American politics and culture. And I don't mean that in like a censorious gatekeeping way. I mean having people that are clearly identifiably on the center left and on the center right in conversation with each other. And we've been doing so much of this at the Free Press. I was in, where was I? Chicago last week, I think. I've lost all track of time, where Dana Lash, former spokeswoman from the NRA, was debating Alan Dershowitz on guns. Now, these are people that have wildly different opinions on the Second Amendment, and yet showing that they can have good faith, very passionate, very charismatic disagreement and still like each other at the end of the day. We think it's important. And so for me, it's always about the curation, like who's in the room, how are you showing centrist news not as the absence of disagreement and the absence of charisma, but explicitly charismatic and disagreeable, and yet doing it in good faith.
And we do that by being very pro-Israel.
And the other way you do it is, by being really honest with your audience. Like,
all right, one last clip from this. Here's Ben Shapiro. Here's the last bit. I'll do this to you. Let's hear what Ben had to say in this back and forth discussion at some meeting of elder Jews or something, or whatever the hell is going on here. Let's watch this.
Most people do not become political in a particular way because they watch the news. They watch the news in large part after they become a little bit political. And the way that people mostly become political is through culture. It is through kind of the normal water cooler conversations they have day to day. And so one of our goals was, once we had built up a big enough audience, could we start to broaden our mission to include things like entertainment content that was going to shape people's values from
By the way, I can already tell where this is going, and maybe this has something to do with whatever the theme was. Maybe this is the theme of the conference, but it seems like the angle, and this has been, I guess, no genius move on my part. They've been kind of basically saying this. They're trying to, she's trying to make this kitchen table issues type thing. And I'm assuming Ben's probably going to do a similar type thing here. The idea of these are the things that people care about. People don't care about Epstein fucking kids over in the Caribbean islands or whatever. Whereas I don't think that's actually an accurate representation of things. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I've gotten to, I'm only got my toes a little bit in the blue collar, doing shit type of, and I do this. Maybe I'm getting out of touch, but, and I did work for the government for over a decade in the military, so maybe to some extent I'm out of touch there, because I was, receiving a paycheck from the government, so maybe I'm a little bit out of touch with what maybe normal people actually are more in touch with the local kitchen table issues, and they do put a much greater value on that as opposed to things like Epstein or Israel. I don't know. I don't think that's the case. I don't know if it's just gone to such a level. I just don't think you can do something to this degree and be able to just kind of Jedi mind trick away. The economy will get better. Worry about the economy. Number go up. Meanwhile, it's also then to add to that, then you also have, in reality, the economy is just kind of completely just fucking on fire. So it's maybe not completely, but not doing great. So it kind of, I don't know, it really kind of takes the oomph out of this whole kitchen table issues thing when it's it seems like your whole kid fucking operation is, essentially, if you really extrapolate, becoming responsible for billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars and huge world decisions being made. And this may very well, who knows? Crazy idea. Perhaps this may actually, in some way, affect people's pocketbooks. And maybe, just maybe, the social consciousness has risen to such a level to where, I don't know if you can play this game on them when you go, well, don't worry about it. That's just Jeffrey fucking kids over in Cancun. Don't worry about it. What does that have to do with the price of eggs? I don't know how much longer you're going to pull that trick, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being a little bit disingenuous with Ben here. Let's see where he goes.
The time that they were young. So, for example, we have a children's programming unit called Bentkey that has several 100,000 subscribers, and it embodies sort of classical Judeo-Christian values for kids, where you're not worried that you're going to leave your 5-year-old in front of a TV and suddenly Miss Rachel's going to be lecturing them about.
Oh my God, it's even worse. Oh, Miss Rachel. Oh no, Miss Rachel's telling your children not to fucking murder people. Hey, we should all love people and not be cool with children being murdered. They're innocent people. Oh my God, look at her. What does that have to do with the price of eggs? I don't want you propagandizing my children to, love other human beings.
Palestine. That's not going to be a concern if you watch our sort of content. And so, we decided to expand in that way. Hopefully that'll be justified by the audience, and the audience will love what we're doing. If not, then we'll have to stick and move in other ways too. That's, as Barry says, one of the nice things about independent media is that you can really move quickly. You can adjust on the fly. And I just want to take a second and say how courageous it is for Barry to move back into a legacy media space, which does have disproportionate power and weight in the conversation, disproportionate resources in being able to actually ferret out the news. The dirty sort of unspoken secret about independent media and legacy media media.
So independent, so brave, so stunning.
Is that independent media has always been at least a little bit parasitic on legacy media. They have to rely on the reporting of legacy media because they have so many resources. So for
yeah, go fuck yourself. The media reporting's like, I mean, especially as someone who's actually gotten more embroiled into the nitnoid details of reporting, they can go fuck themselves. Larger like ones, I mean, there are exceptions. You have ones that have, and a lot of those ones are ones that have actually, as a result of their credibility, have made a name for themselves. But for the most part, the larger ones are kind of a little bit more sloppish. I don't know. I put much more respect on names like, I don't know, like Ken Silva, I know, Julie Kelly. I don't know. I'm trying to think of other names that I guess are kind of that like in between, aren't quite maybe a full on establishment, or kind of more independent. But anyways, let's finish this last little bit.
To go back into legacy media and give up the freedom and fun that independent media represent in order to actually go and capture an institution and take it back for something like sanity is an amazing thing.
I think the whole point is the institutions are dying and they should die, but whatever. Anyways, that's a whole other separate discussion. I guess I was a little bit wrong where he's going, and Ben actually went a much stupider route. All right, let's say our good mornings pop in, and then we'll get into some foreign policy. Good morning, Tilla Spook, saying I thought I was going to be an hour late. No, I was just very late. Sorry once again for that. Good morning, PJR, although it isn't even morning here anymore. Whatever, it is, it's over in California still morning, so good enough. Good morning, Knife Safety Plus. Good morning, comment mama. Good morning. Hey, say what now? Good morning, Eris. Good morning, Quest Fanning. Good morning. Podcast review saying Kitty of the Day would hit different on TG. Is he still going live? I saw he was going live earlier. I wasn't able to watch because I was busy setting up. Good morning, Gautis. Good morning, Chuck. Bam. Good morning, Shannon Jones. Oh, worked out perfect for Fire Pixie. Fire Pixie slept in. Perfect. Good morning, Alien Big Cat. Good morning, Zoe. Here for the pizza. Oof. That's sinister. I think you're in the wrong place. Good morning, Eddie Sato. He said, in his defense, maybe the guys who got stabbed asked him to move from the seat they paid for. Yeah. Referring to the stabbing at the jump. Good morning, Visa Savage. So good morning, Jose. Glad you went live. I turned off my David Irving lecture on World War II to listen. Mega Base. Good morning, Black Eye. Good morning. Who else we got in here? Good morning. Eddie asking, can we bet on her kid being JD's on Kalshi yet? I don't know. Who knows? Comment on saying no one cares, in my opinion, on the Erica thing. Well, it looks like the ladies in my audience, I know as of right now, don't seem to give a shit. So cool. Good morning, Emery Lawrence, saying she loves attention. I do get a little bit of that vibe, but then again, a lot of ladies do. That's not crazy. Good morning, CSESTP. Good morning. Tilla says rumor has it she's 8 months pregnant, but I have no evidence of this. Source, it was revealed to me in a dream. What else we got? Good morning. Knife Safety saying these Jews are so out of touch. It's nauseating. Yeah. Aggressively agreeing. Good morning. Who else we got? Fire Pixie saying, sir, this is a Wendy's drive-through. Good morning, Ray and Cap. Good morning, Chad Head. Good morning. All right, let's get into some foreign policy. Be sure to hit that like button as you pop in. I know we're at a different time, so I may have thrown it off. Probably not great for the numbers, but whatever. We do it. We're going live. But hit that like button, help a brother out. Let's go ahead and get into the latest in foreign policy. Popping in over in Venezuela, saying airlines canceling flights to Venezuela. So a little sketchy. And a reminder, most of these stories typically come from antiwar.com. Great resource. International airlines have continued to cancel flights to Venezuela after the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration issued a warning about flying near the country, a statement that came as the U.S. continues to move toward launching a war with the goal of ousting Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. The FAA told pilots on Friday to exercise caution when flying in Venezuela's airspace due to the worsening security situation and heightened military activity around the country. It warned that unspecified threats could pose a risk to planes at any altitude, including during takeoff and landing. So obviously this is sketchy that we're giving warnings to to airlines saying, hey, be careful, wink, wink. So a little bit leaves a lot to be concerned. And then roughly around the same time, about a day after, actually, this was on actually a Monday, yesterday, the State Department formally designated the Cartel de los Soles, the Cartel of the Suns, a group that doesn't exist, as a foreign terror or terrorist organization. So, right here it says the term the Cartel of Suns was first used in the 90s to describe two Venezuelan military generals with sun insignias on their uniforms who were involved in cocaine trafficking. According to a 60 Minutes report that aired in 93, one of the generals was working with the CIA at the time. So, a little irony there, and I guess, sure, maybe you could jump to assumptions and say, Trump's fighting the deep state. He's going against the CIA. I think it's probably a little bit more complicated than that, but okay. But, I mean, just to kind of cut this story short, I mean, essentially what they're doing now is they've designated, and they've been doing this recently, they've been designated a bunch of different groups in that region as terrorism. They've been essentially building up the repertoire of the narco-terrorism designation, essentially. They've been making it more sinister by, over the past few months, just continually adding, this group and that group. And a lot of these are legit cartels, while always kind of making mention of this Cartel de las Soles, the big one, the big kahuna. And what they're referring to is this supposed, cartel that essentially is existing within Venezuela through the government. That's what they're referring to. So what they're referring to is the Venezuelan government. So here's the trick. It's not even really that great of a trick. They've essentially, started labeling somewhat kind of what vaguely similar things as foreign terrorist organizations, and those ones are kind of credible. These are crazy cartels who are probably doing some wild shit. If I got to make some assumptions, who knows? Maybe they're ethically doing business. I have no idea. But then they label those ones as such, and then from there you have the jump from that to the other thing, the government being Cartel de Soles, and so now, ta-da, foreign terrorist organization. Terrorists, anytime we're talking about terrorists in the South America, and then now you are including the government of Venezuela in that. So a little sketchy, and the government itself has already admitted that this gives them additional tools of sorts. Hegseth said in an interview last week, the designation gives the Pentagon new options to go after the cartel. So a little sketchy. I think we kind of all see the game being played here. But who knows? Maybe it won't be too bad. We got Trump's planning to hold talks with Maduro, supposedly. Apparently, he told his advisors he's planning to speak with him, with Maduro. This was reported on Monday. So, I mean, here's what the Trump advisor said is, I see his diplomatic solution as being very likely, but a little bit of word of caution here. Do not forget the lessons we have learned from this Israel-U.S. dynamic, particularly Iran, remember we were literally I'm pretty sure as planes were in the air, we had Trump saying, we're still committed to diplomacy, or I forget the specific thing, but incredibly duplicitous type stuff. So I wouldn't put it past Trump to mingle with Maduro on the auspices of diplomacy, and that being some sort of cover for an attack. Although now to be clear though, I actually kind of lean against that, because I would, if I had to make a guess, I think that probably was more due to Israel being in the mix. And I don't really know. I'm not aware of anything particularly with Israel when it comes to Venezuela. I think this is more of a straightforward, kind of, I don't know, the United States incentives type thing as opposed to Israel. So point being is I don't know. I really struggle to believe. I mean, maybe I'm just too, I don't know, starry-eyed, me. But I still struggle, despite the fact of what complete fucking scum I think he is. I do still struggle to think that the administration would think it wise to behave in this manner when there isn't some sort of a complicating force like in Israel, essentially. Because that one is more like let's be real. I think there's other stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know when it comes to Israel. And I'm sure that the same thing applies to Venezuela, but probably to a lesser degree. So anyways, moving on. Israel still murdering. They killed 4 more people over in Gaza, so that continues. And I think what we covered, earlier in the week, last week they killed dozens of people, just kind of flagrantly, because supposedly Hamas attacked them on very, very dubious evidence, meaning none. So, surprise, surprise. And then more, this board of peace that Trump's leading, because don't forget, we're managing Gaza now. This is, we have very much embroiled. Every time they're murdering people, it's like, well, we're supposed to be the ones preventing this. We're the third party here. So, great. But looks like not only that, this supposed, board of peace that's going on, Trump's going to be managing this Gaza side of it or whatever. This weird scheme they have. Well, apparently they were talking about expropriating land, and compensating the owners, whatever that means. So who knows? It might be a better deal for a lot of these guys. But despite that, it's still seems very much like a told you so type thing. It's very much the game is by any way they can, shape or form, slowly but surely, wear down the spirit of the people and physically take their land as well. So to reduce their will and their literal physical land over time. So the game continues. It continues. It says, following the passages from the Cradle, it says, following the passage of a UN resolution authorizing the U.S. plan for post-war Gaza, President Trump's so-called Board of Peace is considering expropriating land from Palestinian owners displaced from the Israeli-controlled half of the Strip, Haaretz reported on 23 November. Citing U.S. and diplomats, Israeli newspapers said the Board of Peace, headed by Trump, would be a cornerstone of the U.S. plan for Gaza. As outlined in the UN Security Council resolution adopted this week, the Board of Peace will coordinate the delivery of humanitarian assistance and facilitate Gaza's development. The U.S. officials said that building so-called safe communities for Palestinians in the Israeli-controlled part of the territory is a major U.S. priority. Israeli forces now directly occupy the eastern half of Gaza, which is separated by the Yellow Line from the Hamas-controlled western part along the sea. However, U.S. officials say those involved with the Board of Peace are discussing who will be chosen to live in the temporary communities and on what criteria. They're discussing whether Palestinians allowed to move to them will be able to leave and what will happen to the legal owners of the land on which they are built. One of the diplomats said the current U.S. idea is to expropriate the land and compensate the owners, the newspaper wrote. Diplomat added that the plans are moving forward rapidly, while U.S. and international officials at the CMCC, that's the Civil Military Coordinating Center in Israel, are overseeing the project on the ground. Decisions are made at the White House or in consultations between the U.S. and Israeli governments, the diplomat said. The CMC is responsible only for providing technical solutions for the construction of the internment-style communities. Internment style. Oh, wow, that's great. An internment camp. Palestinians have long feared that, or almost you could say like a concentration camp. Palestinians have long feared that Israel would make good on their plans to forcibly displace some or all the 2 million people in Gaza and expropriate their land to ultimately build Jewish settlements. Due to this fear, Palestinians have sought to remain in their homes, even if destroyed, and on their lands to avoid or repeat the 1948 Nakba, despite Israel's relentless bombing of the Strip over the past 2 years. If the Israeli-held half of Gaza is rebuilt, there is no assurance that Palestinians will be allowed to return. Israel could decide to enable Jewish Israeli citizens to settle in the rebuilt communities instead. It literally is like they're Jewing this game, like the stereotypical what people mean when they say you're Jewing them. This is what they've been doing at every turn, just Jewing them in every way, shape, or form. To make way for Trump's Board of Peace, the U.S. begun withdrawing personnel from the CMCC. Haaretz reported that some of the 200 U.S. soldiers originally sent to Israel have left the center, which opened in Kiryat Gat in October. Well, let's check in on a clip I wanted to play that kind of is on this theme. I think it ties in very nicely to what we're talking about right here. With this, essentially this idea of like taking the land and this, essentially this any way, shape, or form they can, and this like shifting mentality of the people in here. Here is a Zionist, and I'm kind of getting this, essentially they're saying they're no longer cool with just mowing the lawn. So I think this may very well tie into a theme I'm noticing with this sort of thing. So let's watch this. This is Zionist Melanie Phillips. So let's watch this. I think this might actually be. I think this is a thing that they were just speaking at. Perhaps, maybe I'm wrong. But let's watch this.
There is a spirit abroad in Israel, which people have not seen before, a spirit among younger people. They will not be diverted from defeating the enemy. It is no longer enough simply to what was called mowing the lawn, to keep the enemy down on the basis that they're always going to be there and we're always going to fight them. No, enough. We will now fight to defeat the enemy because we know that only defeating the enemy is what we should be doing. And there's been a realization that this idea of mowing the lawn, this idea of not going too far, this idea of doing what the world expects us to do, that is galut mentality. That is diaspora mentality. That is trying to please and appease the world. But the world we now understand from what we've been living through and are still living through. The world cannot be appeased. It has to be fought. It has been described, and I think most wonderful.
This is some wild shit. That is some insane things to say, but this is literally like in peak level Zionist supremacy, like us versus the world, like fuck them, kill them all. Holy shit. Let's keep going.
As a move from Talmud to Tanakh, by which I mean this, the Talmud, that collection of rabbinical ordinances, which justifiably can be said to have kept the Jewish people alive since their exile from the land of Israel, is very much a diaspora mentality. It is a mentality which looks inward, which says we are up against a world which hates us, we have to protect ourselves. The Tanakh is full of stories of the Jewish people of antiquity fighting real battles, killing real people.
Yeah, and that's like, I mean, maybe some Christians in the chat get upset, but I can tell you as the resident atheist guy here, like, while my days of debating Christians are long gone, that's like well over a decade ago, it's like the easiest go-to one. It's like, yeah, like, the Old Testament is some pretty genocidal, crazy shit, so I guess you could find ways to somehow justify it, like, well, they were Nephilim, so they're basically demons, so fuck them. But like, I don't know, that gets into some wild implications, but whatever. Wow, just really leaning into it.
In defense of their nation and their people and their faith, and that is what has to be done. And I see that what we're seeing now,
Exodus 21, where they have like literally gives you it's somewhere between like Exodus 10 and Exodus 25. I forget which chapter, but one of those chapters is like is literally like they give you the details on how to take care of a slave or whatever, like how hard you're allowed to hit them or this or that, and all the essentially ethical slave ownership, which even that is not really from the description of it's not all that ethical. So just find it pretty funny, leaning super hard and like, well, we're just leaning hard in Old Testament stuff. And you're like, oh, that might be an issue.
This war that has been fought is the resurrection of the Tanakh Jew, the return of the heroic Davidic warrior. Strength, not weakness.
Well, that's sketchy. That it is weird. They do. I think I was just talking to Already Dead the other day, or last week. I think it was last week. We were talking about that David movie coming out. So that is. That does make sense. David was the warrior, so that is like the one they look to for like warrior mentality. So, well, I think perhaps this mentality from Netanyahu is worn off on Lindsey Graham. He knows what's up. You can see this, portrayed through Lindsey Graham and the fact that he knows, much like it's not enough to just mow the lawn. You must kill them all. It's not enough to just cradle the balls. You also have to swallow the gravy. And I just find it particularly interesting that apparently Netanyahu's 2024 diary reveals frequent meetings and calls with Senator Lindsey Graham. So I know it adds a little fun dynamic. Is old Netanyahu getting gluck affecting world decisions? I know. I think he's the one dictating things here. But I just find it interesting that our favorite little effeminate leprechaun, bloodlusted effeminate leprechaun, has been meeting with Netanyahu frequently. Apparently, his 2024 diary reveals he spoke frequently with Lindsey Graham, who was working the time to ensure the U.S. continued provided unconditional military aid to Israel to support its genocidal campaign in Gaza. According to Haaretz, the diary published by the Israeli nonprofit Hatzalatcha shows that Netanyahu held 7 meetings and 9 phone calls with a South Carolina senator in 2024, what was discussed during the meetings and calls was not included in the diary, but one call made on May 7th came one day before Graham grilled Biden administration officials at a Senate hearing about military aid to Israel. The time the Biden administration had paused a bomb shipment to Israel over its attack on the southern Gaza city of Rafah, though the U.S. ultimately supported the offensive. If we stop weapons necessary to destroy the enemies of the state of Israel at a time of great peril, we will pay a price, Graham said at the hearing. This is obscene, is absurd. Give Israel what they need to fight the war they can't afford to lose. It is kind of funny if you do like interpret all of these people as if there's like this caveat, like, or they'll nuke us, which I guess, to be fair, I guess, or it's they're going to release the blackmail on that person. But we've talked about the nuke possibility too. If you add in the or they'll nuke us, it makes everything far more reasonable. You're like, or they'll nuke us. You're like, okay, all right, fair enough. Give them the weapons, I guess. But we don't even, it's just kind of this unsaid thing that they're likely threatening nuclear war behind the scenes. So as per revealed with a lot of this stuff with Jonathan Pollard recently. Apparently the GHF has announced its end of operations, so that's cool. They're not doing that stuff anymore. And finishing off foreign policy, I didn't think we'd do it, but we did it. Go ahead and give yourself a pat in the back. Trump administration, you did it. You hit triple digits. You've bombed Somalia for 100 times this year with a new record. No one's done it. No one's hit triple digits. And I think no one even really knows what's going on there either. So it's like even more impressive. So hats off. I don't think if I was president, I could pull off such an achievement to be able to murder this many people and involve myself in foreign wars with very little, anything about it whatsoever. So props. I don't know how you're doing it. The old cold joke remains undefeated. I won't repeat it because it has a hard R in there, and I don't know. Well, my kid's in the room. I don't want to drop a hard R. Although I don't care. I'll drop a hard R from her. I don't know. I'm just not in the mood for a hard R right now. I don't know. I'm just trying to clean up the language a little bit. I'm sure someone in the audience is like doesn't want that. Who knows? Maybe they're sitting next to their kid and they don't want their 4-year-old going around dropping the hard R. I get it. They're not prepared for the proper context in which to use that. It's going to be funny once or twice, and then after that, you're going to go, I can't take this kid anywhere. I'm really mad at Jose, so I'm sorry about that. For past misdeeds, I didn't do it today, so you're welcome. Little baby Joey won't be repeating that thing around Publix. All right, let's pop in the chat, say some more good mornings, and then we'll get into the main topics. Check in on Candace. She's under attack. We must save her. Let's roll through the chat. What do we got? Ooh, we got a exotic end tower in the chat. I think they're using numbers and letters instead, or they're using numbers instead of letters. Impressive. Incoming false flag to get us all the way there. Venezuela says comment, mama. We'll see. Watch. Just kind of pull out the old Operation Northwoods plans. Just scratch out Cuba, put Venezuela on there, and just keep it moving. What else we got here? Tom says sometimes the morning jump is a little regular. You might want to jump on your formula or your fiber. Yep. Knife Safety says there are Judeo elements to war with Venezuela. Jose Nino writes about this. I haven't been. I don't know. I'll have to check in on that. I mean, feel free to tag me on any of this stuff. I'd be interested in seeing that angle fleshed out a little bit more. Maybe cover on the show or something. Visa says Max Blumenthal made the Israeli connection to U.S. conflict with Venezuela. I forgot exactly how, but you should check out his reporting. Okay, I'm open to it. Maybe I'm missing something here. It just is not as apparent as other things, obviously. PJR says Gaza land grab is also for the Ben Gurion Canal, right? No, I mean I don't know about that. I mean if so, I've missed that. I wasn't aware of some canal being built. So. Good morning, Marnamat. Good morning. Good morning, Robin. Good morning. Good morning, Shayuon. Good morning. Good morning, Bug Fights. Good morning, your favorite uncle. Says Israeli fatigue is real. I know. I am so fucking tired of them. I wish they'd just go away and get the fuck out of my country. No, I'm just kidding. Sort of. I mean, Israeli, yes. Jews. I mean, some of them can stay. What else we got? If you want to know who rules over you, buy Mel Gibson a beer. Good joke. What else we got? Did I say good morning, you black guy? I think I did. He says, David versus Goliath hits different when you realize a sling is as good as a musket. Yeah, well, it also hits a little bit different when you realize, like, wait, shit, are you making me Goliath in this situation? Are you trying to Are you trying to fucking, pull off a cheap shot and fucking cut my ween? Is that what you're trying to do? Because I don't think America's going to stand for it. And this Goliath is going to stomp it the fuck out. So, I don't know, Ty. We'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Good morning, Boomer Sooner. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Bobo. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Retardo. Good morning. Let me see. What else? Where are we at? Oh, we're almost caught up in the chat. We're almost, yeah. See, Marnik, you got to be in the hard R kind of mood. Yeah, I'm not in a hard R mood right now. Just not in a hard R mood. I'm at peace with that right now. So, yeah, knife stays plus your slurs are like your carry pistol. You got to take to the range if you plan to use it someday. Yeah, exactly. What else we got here? Jose acting like he's on vacation already. All right, let's get into the main stuff. Let's get into the Candace craziness. I know you guys tell me what you think. I really don't know. I mean, it looks kind of crazy. But let's start. Let's just kind of, this is on the 22nd. What was that, Friday? Kind of going in on the weekend. Actually, it's Saturday. So Saturday, Candace dropped. She came in and she dropped some a hot steaming dump here on the world, and I'll just go and read it. I don't really know how to even prepare you for this. This is some wild shit. She says, urgent! 2 days ago, I was contacted by a high-ranking employee of the French government. After determining this person's position and proximity to the French couple, I have deemed the information they gave me to be credible enough to share publicly in the event that something happens. In short, this person claims that the Macrons have executed upon and paid for my assassination. Yes, you read that correctly. More specifically, that the green light was given to a small team in National Gendarmerie Intervention Group. I am told there is one Israeli that is on this assassination squad and the plans were formalized. Again, this person provided concrete proof that they are well placed within the French government apparatus. Further to this point, this person claims that Charlie Kirk's assassin trained with the French Legion 13th Brigade with multi-state involvement. Journalist Xavier Poussard's life is also at risk. This is deadly serious. The head of state of France apparently wants us both dead and has authorized professional units to carry this out. I ask that every person retweet and share this. I do not know who in the American government can be trusted since this source claims our leaders are aware. But I have more specific information which is definitively verifiable should they care to reach out to me. To the brave official in France who did this because they are so moved by the evil of Charlie's public execution to risk their own life, may God bless you truly. Let all be revealed. Oh, by the way, I guess this is probably a great time to actually mention I have Dana Duda coming back on the show. Was it tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow. Yeah, coming back on tomorrow night for the patrons. You'll get that early, obviously. For everyone else, it'll probably come out in about a week or two, depending on how the schedule works. But yes, we're going to be fully exploring all the drops she's had about the TPUSA, Candace, Scientology, Satanism, Mormonism nexus of what the fuck is going on here. So we'll dig into that too. Which, I mean, I don't know. This shit's so wild. We're at the point where we have Candace saying that the French government sent out a hit squad to murder her because she said that France's first lady has a wiener. That's where we're at. Man, why can't we have this shit when Obama was in? I mean, I guess we weren't going as hard. I don't think it reached the fever pitch. Like Big Mike, I don't think really reached the fever pitch like this one has. Candace has really just hyped it at its like ideal moment. So I don't know. I think she just kind of she knew the moment a little bit better to ride that. But anyways, just a hilarious moment. Although if this is true, that's wild, not good. But let's keep moving. Here's more. This is a further post. This was the next day, Sunday night. She says, I have informed people in the federal government and the White House of the France and Israeli assassination plot, and I'm willing to provide full details, as well as the name of the assassins and international accounts in France and Canada through which money was exchanged. Beyond that, I have shared more information with the public regarding the Brigitte story I was investigating at the time of Charlie's assassination. This is all available on my Instagram stories. Thank you all for reaching out and praying for my family. So she's saying, she now is also told. So it seems like I'm seeing a little bit of a replay of that like group chat debacle we had a while ago, where it's like make some crazy claims, kind of, very clearly drops, hey, I've let people know about these claims. You should probably maybe say something about these claims. And then now this last one, this is when was this? This was today, actually, at 7 a.m. This is what she had to say. This very morning, super early, but like I said, about 7 a.m., this is what Candace had to say. After doing those other two things, after dropping crazy stuff, putting people on notice, to like, hey, this information's out there, I'll let you know. And then now she's saying, our show will be off air this week. So there's no Candace this week, which I will say I did catch her show at the end of the week last week, and she said they weren't going to be on a Monday. So that was initially the plan. Now, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe this is all contrived, and this was the plan from the beginning. I feel like maybe not. But here's what she says. Our show will be off air this week. As an update, both the White House and our counterterrorism agencies have confirmed receipt of what I reported publicly. Emmanuel Macron attempted to organize my assassination, per a source close to the first couple. Also, I will again state the French legionnaires were involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination, but they did not act alone. For all of you who doubted my claims, you can now look to the President of the United States and our intelligence communities to issue a statement to confirm whether I am telling the truth. So, and it sounds like she's saying, and so now she took the week off, so now she's also giving these people plenty of time to just have to wallow in it and not giving them any more anything, saying one way or the other about this. She just completely, in text form, dropped a steam and dump on the world and just kind of was like, hey, I got some receipts here, and just kind of, I'll be back in a week, bitch. Which in this current news cycle, that's a lot of time. And she is in this weird situation now where she's the main one. She is dictating the narrative. So and she's already done this, a few weeks ago or a month ago. There was a period of time where she left, and you could just tell the way the news was moving slowed down. It moved differently. So I have a strong feeling her sitting out this week, it's going to cause people to stew in this. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some larger accounts kind of, digging into this. Maybe there's something. I don't know. Obviously, I would assume we very well may get some sort of statements. I know, but I also am kind of, I don't know. This is a pretty wild claim. And, she did pay off for that one, that group chat one, but it does feel like, I don't have any, specific things to point to, but besides the group chat thing, this whole ooh, I'm dropping receipts on your ass, it feels like I only really remember the group chat one, which was kind of a big deal. But I don't know. I feel like there's been other stuff she's kind of implied at, but it hasn't quite materialized, and you're like, eh. So I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I hope that perhaps that she drops some crazy truth on us and we find out some shit. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm interested to see how this week plays out. But I guess let's kind of listen to some people saying otherwise. Here is a kind of a constant. I don't know if you'd say dick rider, since it's the opposite of it. It's like a ankle biter, I guess. This is Nathan Livingston. I don't really know anything about him, but aside from the fact that it seems like anytime there's a Candace controversy, he immediately comes out with some incredibly disingenuous sort of take or something, and a lot of times taking her out of context or whatever. I don't really, I don't know. I don't look at him with, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't look at him as a credible source of information. Not that I necessarily see Candace as some crazy credible source of information either, but this guy clearly has an axe to grind, is it what it seems like, to a degree that's very obvious to anyone who's being honest. You're like, dude, you're not an honest actor here. So just throwing that out there. But here's what he said. He said, breaking, Candace Owens appears to have been pranked on air by a tip. So in yesterday's episode, Candace read an email from someone claiming to have inside knowledge about why her Egyptian plane landed in Delaware. The tip said all directions point to the address. 1 Rodney Square, 920 North King Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19801, which I guess I accidentally just doxed her lawyer, but I guess this guy did as well. Although, to be fair, I bet you probably can just look up this guy because it's probably his business. It says which just so happens to be the address of Candace Owens' lawyer. Okay, I don't really know what to make. Let's let's not watch this clip. There's no point. This is just going to be her repeating that. Fuck it. Let's watch it on double speed. Never mind. We'll watch it because he actually does this thing where he cuts it up too. So I guess I mean, maybe he's telling some sort of story through here. So let's see what he has to say. No, I just realized the audio's out. My bad. A second. I gotta undo it and redo it real quick anyway. So give me a moment. Here we go. Back up. All right. Now let's watch this clip.
Well, like I said, someone emailed us and we took our time vetting this tip. We vetted it across multiple government agencies and to really the highest levels of government. So this is legit. I've printed it out and I'm going to read around some parts, removing some parts to provide this individual, who, by the way, I have no idea who this is, but to give him and her even some more coverage. They're taking a tremendous risk. So I'm just going to read this to you guys. Candace, I'm aware that you suspect the government and other entities are involved in the events leading up to and on September 10th. You might have been wondering why SUBTT made so many visits to Wilmington, Delaware, out of all places, and I can personally answer that. The information I am giving you will implicate the FBI and various other government agencies all at the same time. I am entirely confident in stating that the plane and those vehicles are connected to 920 North King Street, which is at a place that is marketed also as 1 Rodney Square. And here's where it gets big. In June of 1997, the Department of Justice's own directory lists, quote, Wilmington Residence Office, 1 Rodney Square, Suite 404, 920 King Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19801. That is your line to know that it is a federal resident office, 920 North King Street. And at the same address, the United States Secret Service, 920 North King Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19801. It's the building that Snowden leaked. Find one that makes it look brown and then compare it to 920 North King Street in Wilmington. It looks exactly like a mini version of the thing. Back to 920 North King Street, 920 North King Street. That 920 North King Street is also the FBI. Federal SUVs move from that airport to 920 North King Street. 920 North King Street has been a federal residence office since at least 1997, and today it houses the DEA, the FBI, and the United States Secret Service, all at the same address. Wilmington is undeniably a terminal point, and the only logical reason points to 920 North King Street. I read this, checked it, verified it.
By the way, for the audio people, it's showing them, it literally brought up the Macron lawsuit against Candace, and then now it's skimming through, and then boom, it's saying counsel for defendants. It gets down to the bottom.
And
then it's literally showing as she says it, highlighting, and this is her lawyer.
Rodney Square, 920 King Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19801. I am passing this to you because you are honest enough to see this for what it is.
All right. Well, maybe I'm missing something here, but while I just did put some disrespect in this Nathan guy's name, I mean, unless I'm missing something big here, I mean, maybe I got duped somehow in some way, and he's somehow disingenuously. Maybe we'll scroll through the replies here and see if there's someone white knighting with what seems like a reasonable explanation, but yeah, this seems like some dumb bitch shit. That's what this seems like. I don't know. I mean, yeah, people make mistakes. Maybe she somehow got I don't know, because yeah, that is if you look at I mean, I didn't open the document for this lawsuit myself and go look at the very back of it and verify. But I mean, assuming this guy's not lying to us overtly, yikes! Let's scroll through. Here's some other thing which we're not going to watch it. There's people saying, "What's your proof?" Yikes. Yeah, that don't look good. I don't know what to make of this. I don't know what to make of that at all. That is wild. Yeah, nothing in this. I'm not seeing anyone run to her. Here you go as well. And okay, I guess here we go. Never mind. Here's something that perhaps makes it a little bit more, because now it shows someone here, which actually is one of my followers. Appreciate it. I think we're mutuals. Yeah, hell yeah, we are. Rugs to Riches. Go give him a follow. It says FBI and Secret Service Field Office's Appendix A. Here's a document he found a picture of, and it shows in Delaware that, yes, if we zoom in on this, so it does show 1 Rodney Square, 920 King Street, Suite 414. Huh. Suite 414. No, let's go back to that video now and keep that in mind because that's the same address. Let's see. It was at the end. Let's see. Is it 414?
Rodney Square. Rodney.
It doesn't have the suite there. So now I'm wondering if just something weird happened here with I don't know. I assume if Tyler is still in the chat, maybe he'd understand with like legal stuff. I would assume it's probably super common for little clerical errors where addresses get transcribed to the wrong place or this or that. Because I assume there's a lot of copy paste this that and then oops, someone missed this little thing. So perhaps. If you I don't know. Maybe somehow they got mixed up in that way. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. This is weird. Maybe they're in the same building. It's not that crazy, that. Although then that opens a whole other line of questions like, yo, dude, your fucking lawyer works in the same building as the FBI. What? I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. I really don't. I don't know. I guess kind of we'll put a pin on this and maybe come back to because that don't look good. That don't look good at all. All right, let's move on. Here's Project Veritas jumping in on this. White knighting, saying Candace has been a target of governments for years. Says we mean to blackmail her faster. In quotes, Mary Barr Daley, former senior DOJ official, daughter of former AG Bill Barr. Oh, that'd be interesting, huh? So this is Project Veritas. They're sharing excerpts from some text back and forth. It says, hi, I need you to start working on the redacted and Candace Owens case. And it says, question mark? It says, Armstrong will give you the commands, but we need to focus on black and redacted first. Work with Armstrong on this. Send some underage girl to secure him. He's an easy target. The harder one is Candace because she's very resistant. Gather the group to come up with a good strategy, but don't waste time. For redacted, it would be good to have something we could use to put him in jail. And then the response here, I don't want to be on that. And then here's more. It says, how you been working on the issue with Candace Owens? We need to blackmail her faster. Classic has been very affected. Tell Armstrong to send the photographer to follow her and also follow her husband. Then the response is, AW want to know if they need to focus on Candace or redacted. It says, Candace first. I'm so angry at her that I can't stop thinking. If the things she says about Classic are taken seriously, they will investigate the use of money in the election campaign. We have to bring out material to destroy her reputation before she gets to us. Now, this seems like perhaps a little bit of, I don't know, almost a little too perfect. Well, here's Jacqueline Sweet with a little bit of a word to the contrary. I found her recently. I don't know if I've been digging her stuff. She's has pieces over at the Rolling Stone, The Nation, Intercept, Guardian, Politico, and I've been pretty impressed with some of her reporting lately. So I followed her recently. So a new journalist adds to the roster of people I find to be somewhat respectable. So that's always cool. But this is her saying Project Veritas is today again posting more odd movie script-esque texts they claim to have obtained. This one featuring a plot against Candace Owens. The texts also implicate the former boss of fugitive serial forger Patricia Lellis Bolin. The ex-boss features in all her elaborate conspiracies. That's a serial forger. Well, that's interesting. Again, the text show the cell phone number repeating, even though it's not a group conversation. Huh. That's interesting. I didn't think about that. I'd have to go look back at my text. I think that's what they're saying is that that's not normal for text for group conversations like that. It says a lawyer for one of the people supposedly in the conversation says it's not real. So here it is. They're showing the photo. Let me see. Here's a response from Project Veritas. It says representation for Mary Barr stated the texts are fabricated. Meanwhile, neither she nor other subjects of our released texts, such as her father, Bill Barr, Armstrong Williams, Jason Miller, nor Michael Ben Ari, have followed through on their legal threats. Fear of discovery? I don't know when they dropped this, but it sounds like this is somewhat newish, is what it seems like. But it shows right here, it says Project Veritas Media Team. I write on behalf of Mary Daly in response to your below request for comment. Miss Daly never sent any such text messages, and any suggestion to the contrary is patently false. You have provided no indication of the source of such messages or any reason to believe that they are not fabricated, which they are. Sincerely, John Coughlin. Which, hey, as a lawyer, you could be lying. They're known to be liars, and I definitely don't trust them. But hey, we already have people denying it, and their reasoning is like, well, there's other people who haven't denied it yet. I don't know. Doesn't really seem to measure up quite to scrutiny. But then again, I don't know. Maybe you're kind of waffling back and forth. Maybe there's something to this. Here's Mel, Village Crazy Lady. She's saying, I just Googled French Secret Intelligence Service assassinations, and the results are freaking wild. So let's check and see what is it she's pointing at. Here is from the Times. Here's a few articles. It says a few interesting headlines for the topic. It says, hit squad of French secret agents hired for contract killings. It says 4 French intelligence agents have been arrested on suspicion of being in a hit squad hired for contract killings. The agents, 3 from the Direction Générale de la Sécurité Extérieure, the French MI6, and the 4th retired from the Direction Générale de la Sécurité Intérieure. That's a fun one to say. Both of those are fun to say. French is a fun language. The French MI5 have been charged with attempted murder over a plot to kill a respected businesswoman. The hit squad is also suspected of murdering a rally driver and trying to kill a union delegate. 9 people were arrested, 7 of whom were held in custody after an inquiry that began when 2 men dressed in black sitting in a car parked in the Paris suburbs were reported by a local resident. Another crazy headline. French intelligence agencies charged an alleged murder plot. So another murder plot. This is August 5th, 2020. The Paris prosecutor's office says it has filed preliminary attempted murder charges against 2 agents from France's foreign intelligence agency over an alleged plan to kill a 54-year-old woman last month in the Créteil suburb of Paris. And on to the next one. Here is Mossad's accomplices, how Israel relied on foreign intelligence agencies to organize its killing companions. It says, it doesn't show enough of the article to really read it, but that's the headline. You get the idea how Israel's relying on other agencies, foreign agencies, for killing campaigns. And anyone knows enough about like the French Foreign Legion, like they're known for antiquity being the thing that like, if you're some rough and tumble guy who's, gotten in trouble, or it doesn't matter your record and what war crimes you've committed, like if you're a able-bodied man, and even better if you're an able-bodied man with a history of violence, the French Foreign Legion fucking loves you, and they will take you, and there's even rumors that they help give new identities and stuff. So and now you have people from all over the world. So I know it's kind of a perfect little. If you were gonna have a feeder group for assassination teams, just saying, kind of up there. And then the last one, here's one from Congo, from Congo Brazzaville. It says, French ex-spy suspected of Congo Brazzaville plot shot dead in the Alps. So, yeah, it seems like a pattern recognition. Candace might be onto something, at least just on the patterns. But, all right, let's roll through the chat, and then we'll get into Queen Greene folding. The reshifting of the party lines and what's going on with the MAGA internal civil war. PJR saying she's a female Kanye now. Crazy distraction. Be sure to hit that like button, people. Help a brother out. Let me see what else we got. It says, let's talk about Bridget's trouser snake, says your favorite uncle. Candace Owens throwing out squeaky toys for goofy goys, says knife safety plus. Yeah, a wild way to get work off for Thanksgiving. The French are finning off me. That's actually, I didn't even think about that, timing it with Thanksgiving. Oh, I'm not going to work this week, when it's like, yeah, but like you probably, even if she did do her show this week, she probably would have done like maybe 2 days, because I assume she'd probably take some time off for family. So that is a good point. Knife safety. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Aggressively Greene says she might be nuts, but after listening to Daryl Cooper talk about going to dinner with Peter Thiel, are you fucking kidding me? All right, someone's got to find timestamps or something, because I'm not gonna watch the whole But if someone can, that's wild that Daryl was meeting with Peter Thiel. He says, I no longer believe I have good vetting abilities. To be fair, so was Tim Dillon, and a lot of people have gone sketched out by that, and he did portray himself as this weird, libertarian something. So, I mean, I guess to be fair, he didn't become this weird, spooky. I mean, he's been like this weird, friendly periphery figure on like the Joe Rogan Experience for like a hot minute now. And like, it's only nerds like us that really dig into him. They're like, I think he's an evil cum demon. I that's what I think he is. I think he's somehow extracting demonic essence from young men's buttholes. I think that's what he's doing. And he's then, converting that into AI to rule the world. Like, it's only people like us. A lot of the semi-normies, even ones you think would be good, I'm going to go hang out with Peter Thiel. Like, okay, dude. I don't know. The cross that we bear for being further down the road than everyone else. Good morning, Mustache. Good to see you here. Good morning. Good morning. Knife Safety Plus says Candace is a black hole of stupidity that's sucking in everything around her. Get away while you can. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. Tom33 says apparently Cooper was so open about dinner. I'm really not that bothered. If I was him, I've gone out of curiosity, if nothing else. Yeah, I guess the timing when to, and then like also if he was just super being like upfront about it, I guess I don't think I'd even just want to go to dinner with him at all. But whatever, I get the reasoning of it. CSCSTP says Owens is still an old school talking head. Hyperbole is money. That's a good point. That is a good point. These like over blown things. So. Have you guys seen the AI White Candace as PGR? I have not, but that does sound funny. Tom says, after the Kirk stuff, I can't discount anything Candace says right off the rip, but I'm always going to wait for receipts because I don't trust her. Exactly. That's where I'm at, too. Like, she is leaving it like, I'm going to drop some shit, and she has dropped some shit before, so... And this is some shit I'd love to see dropped, but I have a feeling there'll be an asterisk. It just seems too damn good to be true. Good morning, JC. Good morning, good morning. Black Eyes is embarrassing Aussie. He was good on lockdowns, but I guess he needs that 7K. Who was I just talking about? And that was an Australian. I don't even know who you're talking about. That's how little we think about you, Black Eye. I'm just kidding. Australia does seem like a nice country, but I don't think about it. Good morning, Eris. Good morning. Good morning. What else we got in here? Catching up. Good morning, 6R says you'll never catch this nigga. Good morning, Gerald Hall. Good morning. Good to see you. Join the chat. She says, I love you all, but Candace, Scientology, Owens. Dana went so fucking hard on this bitch. I don't know how anyone will ever trust this bitch ever again. Well, like I said, I have her coming on the show tomorrow. So we'll go hard on her together. I don't know. I'm torn. I'm very much torn. Because even with all the shit Dana dropped, it is also a possibility that she's somewhat just kind of retarded. And that, like... Maybe Candace really does have that dog in her and is have good, generally benevolent, but is perhaps just a little bit retarded. I don't know. It is possible. I mean, when you do conceptualize like what Kirk and even her, but Kirk was probably a more extreme example because he was like, 17, 18 taking on TPUSA. Candace was a little bit older, but these guys were formed from a very young age. So I guess it's not that crazy that perhaps like there are people in their lives and events that they've kind of looked at them with a naive thing and they haven't really over-evaluated. So my point being is it's like she may not be as like in the know as some people think. And like, yes, there might be all these shady things surrounding her and these are things influencing her, but it doesn't necessarily mean she is like in the know. But it does seem pretty crazy. So we'll definitely talk about that tomorrow. Mustache is looking dude, James Angleton Boomer. He was the head of Gladio and a major Israel supporter. He led the JFK operation. What else? Let me see. What's else in the chat? Gerald says she made her husband 70 days after meeting her. What the fuck are we even talking about? Yeah. For sure. Kansas' dad connects to Sandy Hook, says Gerald. Oh, shit. Next says, I gotta go. Candace is bonkers. Well, I hope I didn't scare you off of that. We're about to get some NTG talk and then get into some Epstein stuff. But hey, whatever. Enjoy your day. Love you all. Leave a like on your way out. Let me see. I see people talking about the Peter Thiel, what they think about Daryl going on. So yeah, I don't know. That's what's weird. Gerald wants to know where I keep my water. All right, I think we're basically caught up. Aggressively Green saying this was on the newest Provoked episode. Says I like him a lot. The Thiel and Vance stuff is weird though. Is he like super on the Vance train too? That is I don't know. This is one of these things where I think like even some of like our people who aren't really like into the like dig into the sources or the research or whatever are still pretty friendly in Vance. So I think perhaps they see us and they're like, oh, come on. And you're like, I don't think you realize, like, he made a landmark amount of money. Like, I'm pretty sure it's like the most money anyone's ever gotten in what, like the Senate? Was it the Senate he ran for? I believe, from Peter Thiel. It was like, I believe the largest donation or something from for a political, whatever the fuck. Like, it's something insane. And it's like, I think he owns his asshole. So so whatever. I don't think he's a real boy. And that definitely matters in this time. In this time. Good morning, Wise Elk. Says or my afternoon. He says good morning. Are we almost caught up? Let me see. Smiley Miller, good morning. Says I imagine holidays suck balls. The secret society, cult, bloodline, assigned family. Bet the personal insults or slurs are sharp as fuck too. All right. A big JD guys is aggressive agreeing. I said, want more explanation as to why. Wise Luck says, anyone ever heard of Carolyn Boysenko? Karkin Boysenko? I don't know if that's a typo. No, she sucks. She's awful. I'm not going. She's like Beetlejuice. I don't want to say her name too much. She'll come and annoy the shit out of me. But yeah, she sucks. Let's keep moving. Let's get into MTG. I don't think we'll probably won't play all of this, but she had an announcement to make, and I'll let her make it for you guys. Go ahead and listen in.
Hi, everyone. I've always represented the common American man and woman as a member of the House of Representatives, which is why I've always been despised and just never fit in. Americans are used by the political industrial complex of both political parties, election cycle after election cycle, in order to elect whichever side can convince Americans to hate the other side more. And the results are always the same. No matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. The debt goes higher, corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts, American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas. Small businesses continue to be swallowed by big corporations. Americans' hard-earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interest. And the spending power of the dollar continues to decline. The average American family can no longer survive on a single breadwinner's income, as both parents have to work in order to simply survive. And today, many of my children's generation feel hopeless for their future and don't think they will ever realize the American dream. And that breaks my heart. I ran for Congress in 2020 and have fought every single day believing that Make America Great Again meant America first. I have one of the most conservative voting records in Congress, defending the First Amendment, Second Amendment, unborn babies because I believe God creates life at conception, and I love to fight for the little guy. Strong, safe borders, I have fought hard for that. I fought.
By the way, this is on 1.5. She's not cracked out, just so you guys know.
Against COVID tyrannical insanity and mandated mass vaccinations, and I've never voted to fund foreign wars with your hard-earned tax dollars. However, with almost 1 year into our majority, the legislature has been mostly sidelined. We endured an 8-week shutdown, wrongly, resulting in the House not working for the entire time, and we are entering campaign season, which means all courage leaves and only safe campaign re-election mode is turned on in the House of Representatives. During the longest shutdown in our nation's history, I raged against my own speaker and my own party for refusing to proactively work diligently to pass a plan to save Americans' health care and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced, and unaffordable health insurance policies. The House should have been in session working every day to fix this disaster, but instead, America was force-fed disgusting political drama once again from both sides of the aisle.
All right, yada, 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 yada. I mean, that's all great. But yeah, she's resigning from Congress effective January 5th. A little quote there, America first should mean America first and only Americans first, with no other foreign country ever being attached to America first in our halls of government. I actually, the more I kind of mull this over, it's actually pretty, I think, I don't know if this is entirely a political move on her part. I know everyone's super skizz in this chat, but of the individuals that, like, if there was a real girl or a real boy and is just that mega based kind of loon, like MAGA, whatever the fuck, legit drank the Kool-Aid, I think that'd be Marjorie Taylor Greene. So I don't even necessarily think particularly this is a political calculus that happened here. Or some sort of high-level 60 chess, but I think effectively it becomes so. I do think it's a smart time for her to step away from the political stage insofar as like electoral campaign stuff. It would have Would have been although I don't know, I'm mixed on this, which we'll get into some of the pitfalls of her doing this. Blood is now in the water, but the other side does take her out of that realm and put her in a different realm, kind of in a Matt Gaetz realm, which I don't know. Matt Gaetz has been like okay. I mean, he's been on OAN. It's been a little bit disappointing. He's still kind of like a Trump ball gargler kind of, but he's been a little bit better. So I could see, not that I'm saying MTG is going to get a show or something, but some sort of public figure speaking on things. I think she's made a name for herself, and now she's not going to be encumbered by this political system, votes, whatever, that she's in somehow screwing some or whatever the fuck. It's like whatever, someone else is there, so cool. But she will be influencing things from the periphery, which I think in some ways this might even be better. But let's get into how the Trump administration has responded. Well, obviously, more particularly Trump. Here's Trump saying the Republican Party has never been so united as is right now, other than Rand Paul Jr., I mean, put that in quotes, Massey, Marjorie Trader Brown, and a couple of other lowlifes. And other than the fact that many want the election-threatening filibuster terminated, the Dems will do it in the first minute of their first chance, and some don't. There's great spirit and cohesion. Plus, the Republican Party is much bigger than it was when I announced in 2015, or ever was before, many millions more members. We now have the strongest border ever, biggest tax cuts, the best economy, highest stock market in USA history, and so much more. But the yes is yet to come. Vote America. Oh, I fucked that up. Sorry. It's in caps, so I had to say it all loud like that. But the best is yet to come. Vote Republican. Yeah, because he does weird caps. So that's not all he had to say. There's more. I mean, he can't let this one go. Not handling this with grace. I don't know. When does he ever? Here's Trump again. Marjorie Trader Brown, because of plummeting poll numbers and not wanting to face a primary challenger with strong Trump endorsement, where she would have had no chance of winning, has decided to call it quits. Her relationship with the worst Republican congressman in decades, Tom Massey of Kentucky, also known as Rand Paul Jr., because he votes against the Republican Party, and really good legislation, did not help her. I just say he's got to stop with the Rand Paul. Wouldn't it make sense to do Ron Paul? Like, that would make more sense if he's a Ron Paul Jr. Like, how's he a junior? Aren't they like the same age? Like, if you call him a Ron Paul Jr., but I feel like maybe Trump just has the sense that he doesn't want to cast that stone, because once he does the Ron Paul Jr., I mean, you can kind of do it with Rand, since he's made a point about being like, I'm not my dad. And you're like, well, okay then. So, anyways, back to what he's saying. For some reason, primarily that I refused to return her never-ending barrage of phone calls, Marjorie went bad. Nevertheless, I will always appreciate Marjorie and thank her for her service to our country. President DJT. Well, there's more. Here's a video of him making statements about this. And you'd think this is it, but it's still not even it. We'll get into some more. But let's see what Trump has to say.
Are you willing to forgive Congresswoman Taylor Greene?
The question was, are you willing to forgive Congressman Taylor Greene? All right.
For what? No, I just disagreed with her philosophy. She started backing perhaps the worst Republican congressman in our history. This stupid person named Massey. And I said, go your own way. And once I left her, she resigned because she would never have survived the primary. But I think she's a nice person. Okay, thank you. Are you willing to...
All right, yep. So, and then my buddy Clint here saying his commentary on it. Trump's going to be impeached and removed from office, calling it now. MTG/Massey defended him tirelessly during the Russia collusion hoax. Now he's dancing on her grave and calling Massey the worst congressman in American history. Trump is compromised. And then more. Here's more. This is kind of the I think where perhaps the pitfalls of MTG doing what she did here. Did that play the audio for you guys? I just now popped over here. I don't see anybody complaining about the audio. Cool. Sorry. I just now noticed it did the weird audio glitchy thing, and I'm pretty sure it was good when I started it. So just making sure. Let me know in the chat if it didn't. I don't see any complaints, though, so I think we're good. All right, let's keep moving. Here's, like I said, this is he made another statement on this. This is another truthy truth out there. Here's Trump, and as I said, this is the pitfalls, him now setting the sights, now that MTG's out of the way, that kind of allows him to refocus more so on Rand Paul and Tom Massey. So it kind of, MTG no longer taking some of their arrows. So here's Donald Trump saying, whatever happened to Senator Rand Paul? He was never great, but he went really bad. I got him elected twice in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, but he just never votes positively for the Republican Party. He's a nasty little guy, much like Congressman Thomas Massey, a.k.a. Rand Paul Jr., also of Kentucky, which I won 3 times in massive landslides, a sick wacko who refuses to vote for a great Republican Party, MAGA or American First. It's really weird. So, and then what is Trump's administration doing during all of this? This super important stuff that they need to get through. Well, they just passed through a resolution condemning socialism. Thank goodness we have somebody doing that, despite the fact at the same time we have Donald Trump at the White House talking about how Mandami and him have some ideas, have some common ideas. He's fawning over him. I probably should have had some clips ready for that. But I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen some of the Mandami stuff. Just Trump cheesing. Super happy to be with Mandami. Like a weird situation. But then again, I think he's a socialist. So, I mean, hell, the entire conservative party is basically socialist. They don't even really know what socialists are. So let's watch this.
Just showing this from the Hill right now. This is a measure to condemn socialism. The vote is still being tabulated. But of note, the 4 leading Democrats in the House voted with Republicans to condemn socialism. Yet 96 Democrats voted no. Mm-hmm. So those are the Democrats who voted with Republicans, Jeffries and Catherine Clark.
Look, you can even see the bottom right-hand corner is Trump Mamdani meeting today at 3 p.m. I didn't know this. This makes it so much better. Literally at Capitol Hill, as they're getting ready for this Trump meeting with Mamdani, probably thinking that he's going to be like, he's going to tell him socialism's so bad and capitalism's so good. Meanwhile, they don't even really know what the fuck those things are. They're all goddamn socialists. And then he just completely made them look foolish after they wasted their whole day. Oh, we gotta vote on whether we like socialism or not. My compatriots across the aisle, they think socialism is good. Thank God we're getting things done. Thank goodness. All right, let's roll the chat, and then we're gonna get into our final Epstein story. Hit that like button, please, people. Help out. Someone says, can you still buy a Matt Gaetz cameo? No. I mean, I don't know. I'm just... if you really need one, just Google Count Chocula. You probably can get some Count Chocula AI videos now. You probably could get that on the cheap. Let's see what all we got. Wise Uck says she should run for governor, show some managerial skills. I don't know. I'd rather be on the outside, to be honest. Let me see. Cheryl says, thank you for speeding up that message. I'm not sure what message I'm speeding up. Gerald says there's 9 women I can listen to, and she's not one of them. Trust me, brother. I feel that. Let me see. Vapinator says Israel's gay. Nice to see you here. They are super gay. Let me see what else we got. All right, let's get into our last story. I'll caught up in the chat. Let's pop in. We were talking about them voting on socialism. The Trump administration, they're all upset about Massey and Rand and MTG and not voting with the party and yada yada yada. Well, we just showed you. Well, what is the party doing that's so important? They're doing dumb shit like making sure that everyone says socialism's bad. Well, I don't know. I think what Thomas Massey has to say right here might be pertinent to perhaps why these aren't the good guys on Team Republican. So let's watch this. This is from Drop Site News, an interview they did.
Whose involvement with Trump is influencing the decision of the Epstein file release?
I think Israel is influencing the Epstein file release because Israeli intelligence and our own CIA was wrapped up with Epstein. And so it would be embarrassing to our own intelligence agencies as well as Israel's intelligence agencies for all that to come out. And if you notice, there are a lot of bots online and people who are paid. Maybe they're not robots, but they are paid, and they're going after Marjorie and I uniquely. And I think it's because we are against the war that Israel has in Gaza right now. And we want that to end. And we don't vote for foreign aid, and we don't vote for military aid for these other countries that are at war, and we get in trouble for that.
Do you think Epstein's still alive?
No.
And do you think he was a Mossad agent?
Let's talk about agent. I think he helped Mossad.
Was he collecting blackmail on our politicians, and that's why no one wants these released?
You know, I don't know if it was blackmail, but let's say you were a drug user and you bought drugs from a drug dealer. The drug dealer doesn't blackmail you. The drug dealer has what you want, and then you start doing things for the drug dealer. I think Epstein was a sex trafficker, and so
He supplied the women.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he was blackmailing his clients, but he was definitely getting favors from them by finding them women and offering women to them. So I'm not sure. And then obviously once you've done enough of that, there is a lot of blackmail material.
You don't think there's like hidden tapes anywhere buried in the ground in a bunker somewhere?
Yeah, I think there probably are tapes like that.
And are they getting erased by the people?
I don't know. I don't know that well, Pam Bondi said there were a lot of tapes.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of misinformation and conflicting information out there. So how do you expect the American people to believe any of it?
I believe about 1% of it myself. I literally don't trust anybody up here except Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Nancy Mace most recently, because those were the three women that co-sponsored.
What about Ro Khanna?
I'm talking about on the Republican side.
Okay.
I do trust some Democrats like Ro Khanna.
People are saying that you're acting like a Dem, a dirty Dem. You're a dirty Dem, Thomas.
Well, this was, what's interesting about Epstein is the president said it was a hoax, but now he's going to investigate the hoax, right? When he announced all these investigations. And then he also encouraged everybody to vote for it. So at first,
why is he so mad at reporters, too, that are asking about the files?
Fake news. You fake news.
Is it fake news?
No.
All right, well, then let's check back in. We just saw the administration was voting on socialism or some other silly nonsense. Well, I mean, that might have been a little bit unfair of me. That's not, let's be real, that's Capitol Hill. I mean, whatever, that's just some circus. Well, let's check in on the head of the FBI. Let's see where he's at then on this very, very specific question about the Epstein case. Here's him in a recent interview. Let's see what he has to say. Of course, the audio's out. Give me a second. One second, my bad. Here we go. Let's try this again.
The FBI on the Epstein files. The Epstein Files Transparency Act has a very tight deadline, 30 days, to produce unclassified records. Will the FBI meet the 30-day deadline?
Well, we are working with our partners at the Department of Justice to produce, as we've always committed to producing what we can lawfully, legally produce. And we will continue to meet those metrics, reminding the public that there are court orders in place, protective orders, and orders to seal in place that legally prohibit the disclosure of information related to any investigation when there's a court order of that fashion. So we're working with DOJ to say if we can produce anything more.
As FBI director, will you commit to as few blacked out sections or redactions as possible?
We always do. We have in our productions to Congress, which have been historic.
We always do.
And we'll treat every matter in the same fashion while also
what a fucking
upholding
joke.
Always victims' rights. Victims' rights in any case, whether it's President Trump's case, this case, or any case, the victims' rights statutes are preeminent, and we will protect those victims at all costs.
President Trump told your boss, Attorney General Pam Bondi, to look into the relationship between Jeffrey Epstein and Democrats, including former President Bill Clinton. Is the probe limited to Democrats, or will you follow the facts wherever they lead?
We'll just follow the facts. It's pretty simple for this FBI.
This administration campaigned on releasing the Epstein files. What do you say to Americans who are skeptical that there will be actual justice under a Trump administration?
Look at the work of this FBI. To date, in the 9 months that I've been on this job, we've arrested 30,000 people, 25,000 of which have been violent felons. That is double increase from year to date from the same time period last year. We have taken on our priorities in counter-espionage work to an increase of 35% more arrests year to date alone. On the drug front, we've seized 1,900 kilograms of fentanyl. That is a 35% increase from year to date last year. That's just the work of this FBI. We found 5,400 and identified 5,400 children, missing children. That is a 17% increase from this time, same time period last year. These are just a few examples of how committed we are to working the criminal cases for the American people so everyone gets treated the same.
So more charges are possible in the Epstein case.
Based on the new referral, we'll take a look at that and see what evidence comes. But
That didn't sound very inspiring to me.
There's an important distinction. The information that the government possesses versus the information that the Epstein estate possesses. Those are two separate boxes of information. And the Epstein estate has not been willing to share information with the U.S. government. And so even though we've requested them to do so.
Well, the estate just won't give it to him, even though they've requested it to do so, despite the fact these are people who have the power of government. And if there was a time for the power of government to come and play, perhaps it's when children are being raped. So, hey, this is, like I said, this is going to high places. It's gone to the point where we have Ehud Barak feeling the need to respond to these allegations. Here's him being confronted about the Jacobin article, which, funny enough, this is actually the one we covered just the other day on the show. And within that very article, they actually referenced drop site news and stuff. And this was shared by Netanyahu. So we're at such a level where Netanyahu is willing to share this sort of stuff to, I guess, probably take heat off of himself and deflect the Epstein thing to a kind of a binary, political, whatever, kind of, conservatives versus liberals, kind of the same thing. How they're trying to make this a Democrat hoax over here. They're trying a similar thing over there. Well, it's risen to where Ehud's had to respond, and it's kind of the predictable response, but you can go ahead and see it here.
Thank you. Over here. That's not that was helpful. My name is Justin Ling. I'm a columnist at the Toronto Star. As you may have seen, Benjamin Netanyahu just posted in the last couple of hours a piece by Jacobin magazine, what a world, entitled "Jeffrey Epstein Claims to Have Meddled in Israel's Elections," that features you quite prominently in the piece. I'm wondering if you'd like to respond and what you make of the Prime Minister sharing this type of content about you.
The publication was in a kind of publication named Jacobin or something like this, which is extremely anti-Semitist and extremely anti-Israeli publication.
So they're anti-Semitic and anti-Israel. That's why Jacobin. To be fair, I don't know a ton about Jacobin, but let's go on.
How it comes that the Prime Minister found the time to identify it. Probably it was held by his son, who spent his time now not in the front but in Miami, and the whole story is nonsense. It's probably Epstein tried to aggrandize a little bit his role and his activities and so on. I regret of ever meeting him. I was introduced to him in 2003 in a public event by Shimon Peres, and the event with hundreds of Americans, including the Clintons and many others. And I was quite friendly with him for years, met many times on business issues and others. This story of intervening in Israeli election is total nonsense. Never happened.
Yeah, well, you can go check out the Jacobin article for yourself. I mean, sure, I guess maybe it didn't happen. I don't know, but the reporting seems pretty solid to me. But just for a little fun, we talked about the Greene queen, and now we're talking about our anti-Zionist queen, Anna Kasparian, that beautiful, beautiful lady. Let's check in on her roasting the inferior Josh, the Josh Hammer, which anytime he comes up, I just have to remind you guys that this guy, here he is on, to be fair, I guess this is Al Arabiya English, but this kind of looks like it would be I totally thought this was like a Piers Morgan thing, and then I realized there's some weird lesbian lady that looks like a female gender, like a gender bent Anderson Cooper. Then it's like, oh, that's not that. But anyways, it looks like that. Then just he would be the one though to be on like a Piers Morgan thing with Dersh and Anna. He would be. This totally looks. I thought it was a Piers Morgan thing until I saw the broad. So just a reminder, he is the one who gets all these huge platforms over and over and over again. Currently embroiled in like one of the biggest, like drama, or not even drama, just the biggest ordeals. Debacles, affairs, whatever you want to call it. And despite all of that, I still mog him when it comes to metrics. He is literally the editor of Newsweek. He even regularly posts his show on the Newsweek's multi-million subscriber, I believe they have. And even still, despite all of that, if you're one who knows how to read metrics, you go look at his iTunes reviews, you go look at his Spotify reviews, the number of them, the stars. I mog him. I have no, and this isn't me being some ego or anything. Just saying, this is a moderate to smaller size show. I've been on some larger platforms, but I by no means have the pedigree of a Josh Hammer. So I don't know. I just throwing that out there, just a reminder. And then obviously Dershowitz speaks for himself, lawyer to an assortment of people who have probably worn children's faces and done all sorts of other depraved acts. And he is the go-to lawyer for these people. And just a reminder that we had at the jump, we had Ben Shapiro and Barry Weiss lauding particularly Dershowitz as some sort of future voice of reason. This is where they need to be. So keep all this in mind as we watch this. And Anna, she's just a darling. I just wish she had better economics. Although we played that Scott Horn clip a while ago, and she's sounding pretty good. But all right, let's watch this.
Anyone who's framing this as a partisan issue, and I will concede that corporate media, legacy media, they're hyper-focused on some made-up partisan angle here. This is not about partisanship. This is about justice for the survivors, and it's about knowing whether or not we have disgusting pedophiles governing us in the government.
Respond to that, Alan, and then I'm going to move us on.
Sorry, I have to say something. You sound just like Joseph McCarthy. We have pedophiles running our government.
Okay,
we have pedophiles in position of authority. That's what Joseph McCarthy did. I have a list of pedophiles who are running America. You are a McCarthyite. You are the worst violator of due process. You are exactly what this country has to be afraid of. Shame on you.
This brings me exactly.
I would be more afraid of a guy who signs up to be the defense attorney for said pedophile, the guy who in 2018 provided legal counsel and advice to Harvey Weinstein. It is interesting. Has there been a convicted, pedophile or a bad actor that you haven't signed up to defend? I think your credibility on this matter is lacking.
For me, this whole Epstein mess is probably ranks somewhere between the 40th and 50th most important issue, if that I care about. The median American does not give a crap about this. I am sorry.
I don't believe that whatsoever. And that was the thing I was getting at the beginning of the show. I do not believe that, and it's so rich that it's the Josh Hammers of the world, it's the Tim Pools of the world that deliver this specific message. It's like, I just gave you the pedigree of this, and he is a creature of institutions. He almost certainly crawled out of the prostate. He's a jism that crawled out of the prostate of Netanyahu and fertilized some sort of media apparatus and formed into a fully formed life. He doesn't have organic following. He just does not. He is an institutional creature. The idea he has any sort of compunction that is any way aligns with the common American person is an utter fucking joke. This is some fucking, highfalutin writer, city Jew. You're literally a rootless cosmopolitan. You're not the average American in the idea you have any sort of, finger on the pulse of that is a little ridiculous. And whatever. I think it's going to fail, but let's keep going.
To say that is just
That's
the
not
case.
what the polling indicates.
cares about cost of living, cares about inflation. They care about
Get this: people don't like paying money to people that fuck their kids collectively.
affordability. They care about paying for their mortgages. They care about not having to make a trade-off in the local supermarket between chickens and eggs when you get to the cashier to pay for your groceries. They care about the cost of housing. They care about immigration. They care about crime.
They care about both.
They care about a million other things rather than this.
Why would Trump feel pressure to release the files if there isn't overwhelming. There's a groundswell of support in releasing the files, both on the left and the right. This is one of the very rare issues in this country that has brought both sides of the political aisle together.
Anna is saying this because Anna does this for a living. She's just talking and commentating for a living. For people in the punditry and in the commentary class.
So do you. What do you do for a living, Josh?
I
Nailed it. And I actually have to say, Anna, I don't know her background entirely, her pedigree, but I actually think, like, you know, kind of that what I laid out. She's far less of a creature. Like, while I obviously have disagreed with her, she's leaned far more into like left-wing politics and economics, but like she's always kind of seemed like she's generally saying what she thinks. Just sometimes I think the things she's thought in the past were dumb. Very, 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 very different creature than a Josh Hammer. I'm leagues above in like holding some sort of respect for her opinion on what the common man thinks as opposed to Josh Hammer. But let's go on. And oh my God, if Dershowitz dares to speak a fucking word here, because goddamn, he's the least of the group.
I never denied that, Anna. But what I'm saying is,
except for this foxy lady on the left that's slowly growing on me. I'm not gonna lie, gender bent Anderson Cooper's pretty goddamn cute. Let's keep going.
The fact that a Mossad agent who was also working for Ehud Barak stayed for weeks at a time on multiple occasions at Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan apartment. There are too many connections that have been confirmed between Epstein and the Israeli government. And that is what people are pointing to, not the fact that he wore like an IDF t-shirt one day.
Josh, go ahead. What do you make of it?
Epstein had connections to numerous foreign governments. He was deeply well connected with the British government, with MI5. He was also very
the face is great
connected with the United States. And while we're kind of
God, I want to get my paws on him so fucking bad. Someone make this happen. Fucking get me on Pier. I don't know what. Get me somewhere. Get my fucking hooks on him like a little bitch. Like metaphorically, obviously. Let's go on.
The topic of just throwing out completely unvetted conspiracy theories, let me suggest one alternative.
It's not unvetted. It's all in the documents that have been released. Check out Drop Site News. Drop Site News.
I'm going to throw it out there as an alternative conspiracy while we're going to La La Land here. Why don't we consider the possibility while we're going down this path that maybe Jeffrey Epstein was actually a CIA asset, given the CIA's long-standing.
Yes. Okay. I don't give I'm cool with that too.
Arabist dispensation.
I think probably both.
Standing hostility to Israel. Maybe that Jeffrey Epstein actually was trying to entice Ehud Barak and other Israeli officials, then trying to blackmail and discredit.
How are you going to characterize getting embroiled in the inner politics of a country as being against that country? See that little trick that was done there? It's something like he's anti-Israel because he picked a side of a political divide in Israel. I would say that's probably pretty pro-Israel, I would say. I mean, like, if you're involved in conservative politics in the United States and you're trying to say that's somehow anti-Israel because there's another party, doesn't really make sense.
At the Israelis so as to further the CIA's generally pro-Arab orientation over the course of the past 4 years. I don't actually believe that.
Oh my God, Josh, you're hilarious. You're hilarious.
I don't
believe that, but I'm just going to throw it out as a possibility.
CIA, same.
Because I don't do conspiracy theories.
I don't do conspiracy theories because there's another. Oh, because I can invent in my head another possible explanation of this that it in no way comports to anything that makes sense. I mean, it is theoretically possible, just not likely. All right, let's move on. Let's do a little bit of digging. By the way, we'll come back to some more substantive stuff. I wanted to show you guys a little bit more fleshing out of some of the funny, or I guess maybe not funny, a little bit more, a little darker. This is going to take a little bit of a dark dig into some of the email stuff and stuff that came out recently. It's a tiny little dabble, and then we'll get into an article and get out of here. It says, fascinating look into Jeffrey Epstein's mind. He maintained an active interest in conspiracy theories about himself and other subjects more generally. This is from Robert Skvarla, a good account to follow. It says, Edward J. Epstein sent him an article about conspiracy theories, resulting in an offer from Jeffrey for a biography. So let's go ahead and read this. Oh, geez. Someone sent him my review today in Wall Street Journal of conspiracy theories. Says, they're not really out to get you, by Edward J. Epstein, yada, yada, yada. This is in Wall Street Journal, December 18th. And who was this sent by? It says, Happy New Year, Ed. So this was written by Edward J. Epstein in the Wall Street Journal. And then he went, okay, that's pretty spooky, actually, now that I'm piecing together this context. So the guy in the Wall Street, I mean, to the, like, kind of the weird media stuff we talked about, like with Josh Hammer, or just a little bit ago. This sort of thing's going on. That's actually perfect now that we just talked about Josh Hammer. Like, he's the editor of Newsweek. And so then we have literally the Wall Street Journal, Edward J. Epstein, a writer for the Wall Street Journal, in his, what is revealed in some of these emails is him sending an email of his review. He says, my review today in Wall Street Journal of Conspiracy Theories. And the name of the title is They're Not Really Out to Get You. I mean, I'm not going to read this all. You guys can, it's a little bit longer. You guys can read it on your own. But I think we can all kind of, I mean, I'm already picking up words, the paranoid style in American politics. And like, so we're already seeing the way this is being characterized. But let's see how, I mean, you just basically copied and pasted the article. All right. And then here's in return from Epstein. It says, could I pay you to organize my story into coherent presentation? Probably a 6 to 9 month job. So as this guy is saying, oh, here's this article I wrote about how like conspiracy theories are so kooky and yada, 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 to Jeffrey Epstein, a writer in the Wall Street Journal. And then we have Jeffrey Epstein decides, well, oh, do you think maybe you could like maybe make a presentation for my story? It says, please. Oh, never mind. Then it says, then it's kind of weird. It has a weird little legal rejoinder at the end there. Wild. These sort of things are going on behind the scenes. More. Here's Hotstar, the writer of The Eye of the Chicken Hawk, Simon Dovey. He says, what a bizarre email chain. A non-female has peak 2017 Trump derangement syndrome. And Epstein goes, tell Woody Allen Suki has a younger sister. And she's like, I know you like them young, Jeffrey. Anyway, did you see that bit on NBC about Trump's tiny hands? So, I mean, as I've said before, it does seem like there is something to the Trump derangement. That doesn't necessarily mean he's a good guy, though, because it is funny that literally, like, in this email chain here, I guess throughout this broad kind of has, like, a derangement syndrome stuff. But, like, within there, she's literally making references of knowing that Jeffrey is essentially a pedophile and then going on about this tiny hand. So what a wild world we live in. Here's another one from Hotstar. It says, Mary Ordo's heads custodial division at JPM Chase and is being targeted by Senate Dems for her time overseeing private wealth division when Epstein was client. Question is, who's the sender thanking Epstein for pizza? Who knows Erdos and was introduced to Epstein through Trump? Here is, let's read this. The order of these always throw me off. So let's see. 10:18:07. Sorry, I'm 10, okay. Yeah, okay, cool. It's in correct order now. So they have it listed the right way. Sometimes on emails, it shows you like the reverse order. So let's find yada, yada, yada. It says, met this guy, Peter Mueller, quant hedge fund. And then it says, I liked him, very smart. I don't know if these are back. And so the person who said I liked him, very smart is not Epstein. Whereas the person who said, met this guy, Peter Mueller, now that's Epstein. And then the person responded to him, we don't have their name. And he says, I liked him, very smart. Oh, shit. Didn't mean to do that. Crap. Give me a second. And then we get back into this, and it gives Mary Erdos says hi, and then it says, give her a hug. It says, she sends her love and says not to be a stranger. It says, I told her we met through Trump. She didn't believe me. Who's the sender thanking Epstein for pizza? I think I missed. It says thanking Epstein for pizza. Maybe I'm missing that. I'm not seeing Epstein pizza in there. Maybe I missed it in the first one. Very smart. Hedge fund. Oh shit! No, it was the first one. I missed it right here. It says the first one. It was actually I missed the first message from this. The first message that leads off this exchange is, "Thank you for your time and pizza." And then they're going on about this hedge fund with this guy Peter Mueller that they met there, and then they're talking about this Mary Ordos, who is the person who heads the custodial division at JP Morgan Chase. And we have people thinking within the same chain thanking Epstein for pizza, which I don't know, maybe it's really like pizza. I don't know, who knows? Maybe the elites just have a real hankering for pizza. Well, it gets a little bit darker and more suggestive. Here's Robert Scavarla again. He says, was looking for the below communication between Epstein and Brunel, and it appears to be in response to an email from Boris Nikolic congratulating Epstein on an oncoming birth of the child. And so he's quote tweeting here an exchange that says, no, just want you to that Iris was also in Bangkok. I forgot about the Boris witch. That's Jean-Luc Brunel. And then, that's to Jean-Luc Brunel from Epstein. And then here's Jean-Luc Brunel. It says, saved for 2012. But can I start to look for baby clothes if the wish turns into reality? Or would you stick with RL Baby around the corner? I forgot that you are planning everything. I will send you a picture of the Burmese girl. Very pretty. She is a star singer in Myanmar. I will bring her to U.S. Obama visits Myanmar and Chan Chan comes to America. Well, that's incredibly suggestive. I think that I have something new and fresh news to promote. Yikes. And here's another one. Here is from Boris Nikolic. Says, all the best in New Year and more fun in New Year. And for little Jeffrey, soon to come. Holy shit. Thank you for being such a great friend. Going to sleep still in Bangkok. Boris. Says, here's that other one. I forgot about the Boris switch. That was the one we showed a minute ago. And then here's the John Luke Brunel. Okay, so that's the full exchange back and forth. Yeah, it is weird. He says the email exchange is strange because Nikolic makes it seem like a child's away while Brunel's phrasing is less clear. But either way, this is some weird shit. All right, the second to last. I have a video after this. We're going to do a little bit of digging more, some more drop site news. We'll probably read like the first section of this article because boy, oh boy, I kind of purposely arranged the story to kind of go darker and darker and darker until we get to the tippy top. And that's where we are. We are at Israeli cyber weapons, Swiss Rothschild's banks, Epstein connections. We are at the tippy top of the bottom, the infernal depths. So this is from DropSite. So it says on July 31st, 2019, just 11 days before Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in a Manhattan jail cell, his connection to the Rothschild banking dynasty became the subject of major public controversy. Anonymous sources informed Bloomberg of a 2015 visit to Epstein's New York mansion by Baroness Ariane de Rothschild, the CEO of Edmond de Rothschild Group, a storied private bank and one of the largest Swiss financial institutions by assets under management. The bank's spokesperson denied any relation to the notorious American sex trafficker. Epstein was found dead on August 10, 2019. 4 years later, after Epstein's meeting calendars were leaked to the Wall Street Journal, the bank finally admitted that de Rothschild had met with Epstein as part of her normal duties at the bank between 2013 and 2019. Epstein provided introductions to U.S. finance leaders and law firms and provided tax and risk consulting. So you have the bank admitting that a literal Rothschild is meeting with Epstein as part of her normal duties at the bank for a 6-year period. He provided instructions to U.S. finance leaders and law firms and provided tax and risk consulting, the bank disclosed, while also helping de Rothschild personally on a couple of occasions with advice on estate management. The bank remained vague about the actual nature of its relationship with a convicted sex trafficker. Newly released documents reveal that Epstein and de Rothschild's personal relationship was much closer than the bank previously acknowledged. According to emails released by the U.S. House Oversight Committee on November 12th, Epstein planned to see a Broadway play with de Rothschild in January 2014 and scheduled a private trip with her to Montreal that September. Second set of documents, the leaked inbox of former Israeli Defense Minister Ehud Barak, backed by Handala and uploaded by non-profit whistleblower Distributed Denial of Secrets, sheds light on Epstein's efforts to leverage his personal friendship with the Rothschild to raise funds for the development of Israeli cyber weapons. After Barak's retirement from government in 2013, he recruited Bavel Gurvich, a graduate of Israel's Defense Forces Secretive Unit 81 Technology Unit, to source cyber weapons startups for the Israeli intelligence community. Gurvich did not respond to requests for comment. Private communications between Barak and Gurvich show discussions about a wide range of cyber weapons concepts drawn from Israeli military research, inspired in part by the astonishing scope of U.S. global surveillance apparatus revealed by NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden in 2013. Epstein pushed forward a plan to finance Israeli offensive cyber startups with the hope of winning de Rothschild's support. Epstein often played the role of middleman, handing off messages between the banker and the former prime minister. One note, Epstein passed along a tantalizing offer from de Rothschild to Barak. If Ehud wants to make serious money, he will have to build a relationship with me. Take time so they can truly understand one another. Remember when we showed a little bit earlier, Barak being all weird about the connections with Epstein and like, oh, that's crazy. That's anti-Semitic. He was getting involved in Israeli politics. Meanwhile, we have him back and forth essentially from Rothschild, basically saying, oh, if Ehud wants to make a fuckload of money, make sure he hits me up. And we're going to have to build a relationship. So what does that mean? Barack asked for advice, deferring to Epstein's supposed expertise on women. I'm ready, he wrote, but I need your advice, Ari. How? Ladies is your forte. Neither Barack nor de Rothschild responded to requests for comment from Dropsite News. The Hindala hacking team is suspected of having links to Iran, but Dropsite has been able to verify the authenticity of a number of private details in the Barack email database. Many of Epstein's emails have also been verified via the House disclosures. It's not clear whether the Rothschild Bank ultimately participated directly in Epstein and Barack's cyber weapon efforts, but in October 2015, de Rothschild negotiated a $25 million contract with Epstein's Southern Trust Company. The same entity Epstein used to fund Barack's intelligence-linked security startup Reporty Homeland Security, now known as Carbine, earlier that year. According to a proposal reviewed by the Wall Street Journal, the multi-million-dollar contract was for risk analysis and the application and use of certain algorithms. House disclosures show that Epstein and de Rothschild remained close in the years before Epstein's death. An email exchange in 2018 with former Obama White House counsel Catherine Rumler, Epstein gossiped about de Rothschild marital issues with Benjamin de Rothschild, heir to the Rothschild fortune. He wrote to Rumler, Ariane said Ben giving her a very hard time and did not know about tattoo. She said he wants her to do wife-like things. Ugh. Rumler replied, barf. Weird. Okay. Rumler met Epstein when he reached out after she left the Obama administration on behalf of the Rothschild Bank. So that adds out, oh shit, man, we covered Rumler the other day. This was one of Barack's top lawyers, Barack Obama, not Ehud Barak. So literally our former president, I believe, I want to say around the time he was president too. And then now she's also reaching out to Epstein on behalf of the Rothschilds. Just really see you really see how this thing goes. Asking if she'd be willing to represent them in an ongoing DOJ investigation into money laundering and tax evasion. Rumler accepted and helped negotiate a non-prosecution agreement. Barack and Epstein frequently discussed regulatory issues facing their Swiss bank partners as Epstein scouted opportunities to finance Barack's cybersecurity enterprise. The email data sets, which are mostly clustered from 2012 to 2016, show Barack and Epstein working on a partnership between Ariane de Rothschild and Boris Collardi, then CEO of Swiss bank Julius Baer. Edmund de Rothschild Group and Julius Baer were both implicated in major tax evasion and money laundering investigations during the same period. The communications do not reflect Epstein or Barack's involvement with the bank's responses to the investigations. All right, and now we're going to bring this full circle with the last little video I have for you guys here. I think you'll be kind of astounded. I think this is some dude who went on Jake Shields' podcast recently, so that's cool. But let's just listen to this. This is pretty fucking mind-blowing how this kind of comes back full circle. So just watch this.
Now, Dude, nobody on YouTube is talking about this. Epstein Island, Moses Levy, guess where he relocates to? It's the Father Island. That Epstein Island is a tiny little freckle on.
So they're basically like
It's the same island. Yeah, there is no Epstein Island. And dude,
this is the top slave trader, the top ship, or the top ship owner.
Yeah. So Moses Levy, he gets kicked out of Morocco. He comes to the Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, Charlotte Amalie, which is the island that Epstein Island is connected to. So, dude, this St. Thomas connection, it goes so deep, and literally, like, this is the first podcast that's going to break this.
By the way, I do got to give this guy some respect. He's a podcast stander. I haven't done that in a long time, and I stopped doing it. I guess I just let social forces drive me out of that method. But when I first started, I was a podcast stander. For those who remember the old day, I didn't take a sitting position. I stood. I do think it's a good hack for people who are trying to figure out public speaking, because it's like helps dissipate nervous energy. When you're sitting, you're kind of like just stewing and you're like stationary. Whereas if you're standing, you can kind of work off that nervous energy without even realizing it. But props, respect. Let's continue.
Nobody knows who this is.
This is all brand new to me. I'm like blown away with so many things today.
Moses Levy goes to St. Thomas and starts his family. I think he had like a son who was already born or whatever. And he's in the Caribbean. He's getting rich. He's a big, big slave trader. Well, one day, Jake, this guy has an epiphany. I don't know if it's in his sleep or a sickness or what, but similar to Columbus. He has almost like an epileptic episode.
All right. So just to recap, it says he ended up living, the Sephardic Jew, Moses Levy, the #1 slave trader in America, was exiled from Spain. He ended up living on an island outside of Florida, which just so happened to be the St. James Island where Jeffrey Epstein had his infamous mansion. What are the odds? So it is pretty crazy to see. You can see right here, Brian Ashcroft says St. Thomas is the main island, and that's where Moses Levy settled. So it's even the main island. It says St. Thomas is the main island, so I'm wrong. Great St. James is about a quarter mile off the coast of St. Thomas. Little St. James is further, about a total of 2 miles from the big island, St. Thomas. So 2 miles away from there and part of that island chain. What are the chances? I don't know. Well, with that, guys, we're going to get out of here. Someone says PGR says I should start lifting while podcasting. That'd be epic. It'd be a hard trick to pull, but maybe we'll consider it. All right, guys, we gotta get out of here. I've had a fun show today with you guys. Be sure to do all the things: hit the likes, the share, subscribe, comment, 5-star reviews on iTunes or Spotify. Follow me on Twitter, or the show you can find on YouTube, Rumble, all the major audio podcatchers. You can find it on Twitter as well at Tower Gang Jose. And if you want to support the show the best way you can do that with money over at patreon.com/nowayjose2020. As you can see right above me, you see a QR code right there you can use. That'll bring you to the Patreon as well. Patreon.com/nowayjose2020. The lowest level is $2, and I give you a host of perks. At that level, I give you access to 1 to 2 episodes a week, typically behind the paywall. I'll try to keep about 4 behind the paywall on any given time. You also get access to ad-free RSS feed. You also get access to the Telegram. You get access to pre-show, post-show, and video calls. Me and Austin's weekly live call-in show, Already Dead, which is tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. That's on Tuesdays for those watching this on a different day. And the highest level is my sponsors, and I read them off every episode. It's a big thank you for everything they do. I'm my previous co-host in Tower Gang, at Learner Toad, also at AbrogateDs, at ZOVRCK, at _InfiniteZeal, Tim Tuttle, at Jolly Klebold. Big fan of the show, Torn May, at Wayne Tackless, 1-800-CAR for Kids, No Free Lunch, Jack, Mark Vestibule, and Jacob Winograd of the Biblical Anarchy Podcast. With that, guys, I will see you all tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. That is the plan. Yeah, it's tomorrow. I don't think I have anything going on tomorrow. I should be here. I'll see you all. I hope you guys enjoy this outro. I thought this was beautiful. This is mesmerizing. This is pure art. I hope you guys feel the same. Just absolutely beautiful and amazing, the things that we find on the internet. So enjoy this. I sure did.
While spinning a Burger King cheeseburger in front of Mr. Pickles, they turned on their tractor beam that attracts all the pickles to their restaurant. There's 1, 2 going towards Mr. Pickles, 3, and lastly, I think there might be a 4th towards Mr. Pickles. 1 came towards you, the audience. 4 out of 5 went to Mr. Pickles. I spin faster with my human fingers, going at light speed. A piece of bread flies off. I am forever confused by the large pieces of bread. It is like some type of bizarre communion. Here comes more bread. At this point, I can't stop. My fingers are possessed. My human body is going faster and faster. I don't know what to do. It is overwhelming. At this point in time, I am making a spectacle of this burger. It is a firework of yeasty goodness. And now the rival clown collective in their spy plane flies overhead. They've sent a mocked-up UPS truck to surveil me. I will stop. I will get out of here. I'll see you all tomorrow.